When somebody says this hasn't been done or nobody can do this, this is like the biggest challenge that I can have, right? I mean, I'm really motivated by things that have not been done or cannot be done. Three words that come to mind that explain innovation would be limitless, patterns, and value. Limitless because I believe innovation cannot have a limit. You cannot bound innovation, otherwise you're not innovating, you're just putting it in a box. Innovators need like open mind, no boundaries to innovate. Patterns because at the end of the day, whatever solution you come up with, it's a variation of all the possible outcomes. So I think the innovator needs to be good at identifying different patterns of solutions. And value, because at the end of the day, I mean, we need to deliver value to the organization to make it meaningful. Yeah, that's a very good question. I think it all started very early on. I believe I was about 8 or 9 years old. And I love to solve problems. I love to solve problems and invent things. So I remember we had this problem at home. We used to have blackouts every now and then. And in my child science encyclopedia, I used to have this story about how farmers use rivers to generate electricity with these big wheels, water wheels. On the other hand, I've noticed that the milkman that came to my house, he used to have this little dynamo in his bicycle that lit this little bulb. Yeah? And somebody in my house, I can recall, somebody said, oh, we still have water because though the pumps are not working, we have big tanks and we used to live in a high building. So we have pressure for a few hours. So I think I was doing naturally cross-pollination very early on, and I linked these three things. And I thought, why then can we have a little wheel with a little dynamo inside an enclosure, put it to the tap and open the tap, a long wire and a little bulb. Yeah. Well, I certainly believe AI is a disruptive Horizon 3 type of innovation that will change everything that we know about about the world. It will change everything. And I was lucky enough to witness some of these signals, early on signals. I was working for IBM in 1997. And at that time, the company was the first company in the world to develop a computer that could beat a world chess champion, Deep Blue, Kasparov. And I was working at IBM at that time, so I was witnessing history and one signal of AI. Then in 2005, I believe DeepMind with AlphaGo came with a second signal in my mind about where we were heading to, not playing games, of course, but disrupting the whole ecosystem about technology. Well, there are many that come to mind, but I would have to go with Bitcoin. Bitcoin and its hidden, not hidden, it's add-on value of blockchain. So the first time in history that people can transact with one another, peer-to-peer, without having intermediaries in the middle. And then blockchain allowed for all this smart contracts and DeFi, decentralized finance. So I think this was really disruptive, and it still is, and the ecosystem is growing. So I think this is massive innovation. Well, I would start with something more broader. Science fiction was a huge influencer for me. As a kid, like watching the Jetsons and as cartoons, Star Wars, And then as a teenager, if I were to name one name, I would say Isaac Asimov. And all the histories about robots and the future and the dilemmas of humans with living with robots. And by the way, I would recommend a movie as well. The movie is related to the Bicentennial Man. A Bicentennial Man is one story about Isaac Asimov. Talks about the robot and how he lives in society. So I would recommend this movie. Yeah, that's also a great question. I love this question. I noticed that I'm most innovative in two circumstances. One, when I travel, and usually I'm in holidays, so it's not business travel, but it's more personal holidays and travel. Because of course, the mind, it's out of its comfort zone, sees different things. Usually I have things in my mind 24/7 running in the background, looking for patterns or looking for new things. So when I travel, I see new things, I can trigger new ideas. This is one thing. The other thing that really boosts innovation is when somebody says, this hasn't been done or nobody can do this. This is like the biggest challenge that I can have, right? I mean, I'm really motivated by things that have not been done or cannot be done. I'm really turned on by this kind of things. Well, in general, I would say if you're managing a company, doesn't matter the industry, you're MD, you're a CEO, first of all, you need to understand innovation, right? You really need to get it. If you don't get it, please go to Silicon Valley, take 1 month off, talk to the major disruptors in the valley. Once you understand innovation, come back, make small teams. The teams is a secret. Having the right teams is a secret. Creating the environment is the other secret. So you need to create the ecosystem. You need to create the space for innovation to happen. Once again, no limits, no boundaries, no taboo areas for innovation. Yeah, and then make your innovation teams. Of course, everybody needs to be innovative in a company, but I would recommend to have, in addition, a team that primes the system, a team that helps others to innovate, but at the same time, maybe concentrate on Horizon 3 or more disruptive innovations to drive this forward.
So now the truth or dare question.
Wow.
So which one would you pick?
Let's go for the fun part. Let's go for dare.
So, would you sing for us your favorite song?
Wow. Is this being recorded? Look, I'm...
It's going to be broadcast all over the planet.
Wow. Look, where I come from, as you know, I come from South America, from Uruguay and Argentina. And for us, a very typical thing is the tango, yeah. So I think I'm going to share with you just a few words of a famous tango song that I remember. Some not the whole song. I just remember some words. So it says something like this. Siga un consejo y no se enamore, y si una vuelta le tocó cicar, fuerza canejo, sufre y no llore, que un hombre macho no debe llorar. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing this. This is really personal, I think.
Yeah, it is.
And you have a very nice voice.
Oh, thank you. Actually, for us, the tango is like poetry. You know, because it's the lyrics are very special, and you have to be a certain age to understand tango. So it took me 30 years to really grasp what the tango was saying.
Thank you very much. Pablo.
Thank you. It was a pleasure, Harvey.
And you, what would you recommend changing in your organization to be more innovative?